Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen all over the world. Hope everyone is doing well and doing gritty. Today, the Cowboys tried to return a Kavonta Talpin. We're going to talk about the return of Kavonta Talpins in the Dallas Cowboys. Also, we talk about what the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, have been announced on a free agency's move and the return of some players, including the signings of a player, Max Crosby from the Raiders, and another players who could sign for the Dallas Cowboys free agency's move in this time. So, if you didn't make subscribe on this platform, please make subscribe for more Cowboys breaking news and free agencies move. The Dallas Cowboys have been involved in a trade rumors for a weeks now, and that likely won't change anytime soon. If the Cowboys complete a deal with off-season, the Cowboys' wild Hidi Hanson believes that the franchise's of 29 years old All-Pro return specialist should be included. The Cowboys tried to expand a Talpin's lore in 2025, and in the same ways it worked and in other ways it failed. Hanson wrote a Monday, a Talpin posted a career member of the offense but miscue and drops were a little throughout. His return ability also suffered with a Talpin collecting uncharacteristic penalties and perceived a loss of confidence along the way, even coming off a down year. A Talpin is highly valued around the NFL. His game-breaking speed is unmistakable, and with a contract that runs through 2027, he should garner a pretty decent return from a team looking for a choice. The Cowboys may not to lose him in their return game, but offensively they can take the hit in the Dallas Cowboys. Talpin isn't a terrible wide receiver, but he is far more dangerous as a kick returner. The TCU product acceleration, commitment to allowing his blocker to create a clear crisis, and situation awareness allow him to sleeve during a kickoffs. Talpin finished the 2025 and 2026 season with 1,814 yards and 1 touchdown, earning him a second-team All-Pro honor. It's safe to assure a potential Cowboys trade sweeter who would be interested in acquiring Talpins, making it logical to consider featuring him in the off-season trade. The Dallas Cowboys and team owner Jerry Jones have gone quietly in the second wave on the National Football League free agencies. The Dallas Cowboys, after making a few solid moves in the first wave, there are still questions that need to be answered about the roster. As entering in 2006 NFL offseason, the Cowboys were expected to be very aggressive. Jones made it clear that he was willing to spend a big money in order to make a Super Bowl push. So far, what hasn't happened this offseason? While the 2006 NFL draft lie around the corner latest this month, a Dallas Cowboy will have a chance to add two elite young players in the first round. The Cowboys hold their own number 12 overall picks while also having the Green Bay Packers first round picks at number 12 due to a Micah Parsons trade last offseason. A new mock draft from ESPN have been released now. That mock draft has a Dallas using a player number 12 overall picks to upgrade its pass rusher. The Dallas Cowboys connected to a major defensive additions. In ESPN's new mock draft, Field Yates was in charge of making the Cowboys' first selection at number 12. He has the team scooping up a Miami Hurricanes standout pass rusher Ruben Bain. The mission to fix the Cowboys' defense should start with addition of a Bain. Yates wrote, the ACC defensive player who could player of the year has a hand of destruction that will travel to the NFL. And he had 9.5 sacks last season for the Hurricanes. Ben would be an instant upgrade for the defense that could use a better pass rusher. Even after acquiring a Rashan Gary in a trade with a Packers, a Dallas could use a help. During 2025 college football season with the Hurricanes, Ben was a big part of the season and they made a run to the national championship. They didn't win a championship, but that didn't take away from Ben's impressive season. He racked up 54 total tackles to go along with 9.5 sacks, a forced fumble, an interception, and a defended pass. Throughout his 3 years career at Miami, he totaled 121 tackles and 20.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles and interception, and 2 defended passes. Jerry Jones is still away from a Super Bowl contention. At this current point in the time, the Cowboys do not take the part of the top tries Super Bowl contender. They have improved with addition of the Gurley, a safety Jalen Thompson, and a cornerback Kobe Durant. But no blockbuster move have been made to drastically improve the team. No one can count a Dallas out. Anything can happen during the course of the NFL season. However, it appears that Jerry Jones has more work to do. Also, the Dallas Cowboys, one of the main storylines of the 2026 NFL offseason was a Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders being available for a trade, and the Dallas Cowboys were one of the team in the hunt for the Max Crosby signings. Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones has expressed that the team was very serious about a signings of a Max Crosby and they made 3 trade offers. But instead, Crosby went to the Baltimore Ravens only to fail his physical and come back to the Raiders. Now, Jerry Jones is talking about Crosby again. The Ravens, of course, cited Crosby failed a physical as why they took back their offer to bring him to Baltimore. Speaking with reporters at the NFL Annual League meeting in Phoenix, Arizona, Jones basically said that a Crosby would have done the same things in the Dallas Cowboys. There is no hidden items there. You have got to pass physically, he said. According to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, we have never completed an agreement until the player passes the physical or fitness test, but we would have had the same conditions with a physical. Jones added, as you know, we were in one making an offer for him. He would have come to Dallas, and we will all just guess what would have happened. A Dallas Cowboy owner, Jerry Jones, and general manager gets awards after a Max Crosby comments made at the NFL League marketing. As for those comments from Jerry Jones, Jerry Trotter of the Landry Hats says in Thursday, April 2, future that the bad faith crowd isn't going to enjoy leading that court. Jones didn't go as far as to say that a Dallas would follow the Baltimore leads. Trotter adds, but he didn't have to, and it makes you to wonder if the interested team would have done the same. Trotter goes on the comment on how the Ravens handled their situation and why it would controversial to put it light. It's things to back out a trade because failed a physical. What makes Baltimore look so shady in that they reportedly communicated with a free agent Trey Hendrickson before bailing on the Raiders. He says, of course, the team then signed a Trey Hendrickson on 4 years, which will worth about $112 million contract according to a research from a Spotlight. So, knowing how much Jones loves making headlines and how much star power the Cowboys need on defense, it's a pretty bunker that he walked away from the biggest move of the NFL offseason. That almost vindicates Baltimore's decision. As shady as it looks in retrospect, the Dallas Cowboys on Max Crosby trade pinches included 3 board moves. According to report from ESPN's Ryan M. Sefaden out on March 24, the Dallas Cowboys proposed 3 different deals to Las Vegas Raiders that started with a pick number 12 in the 2026 draft and Osa Odiguzua to get Crosby to Texas. Initially, offer centered on the Dallas second first-round picks number 12 and defensive tackler Osa Odiguzua, F. Sefaden said in report. The Cowboys then offered their top first rounder at number 12 and third-round picks. He added ultimate the Cowboys moves to number 12 and their second-round picks, but the last 2 offers, sources said, did not include Odiguzua, who was traded to San Francisco to the 3rd-round selection. Also, here is probably a good No NFL team has made a move to pay two wide receivers above 30 million each. It's the same reason you would want to deduct up the two kind of money at any position. The Dallas Cowboys know this better than anyone else after suffering through a miserable season in 2025 in which they paid a cornerback at Levon Diggs and Dallon Bland on contract worth combined have stalled receivers as the George Pickens saga continues. Elade Hanson of Cowboys were named a receiver, one of the 5 most tradable players on the Cowboys lineup. So on the Monday, Hanson named 5 potential trade chips for Lone Star. A Turpin, a 3 times Pro Bowler, made the mini list. The Cowboys tried to expand Turpin's role in 2026 in the same way it worked, and in other way it failed. Turpin has shared his time between the wide receiver and special teams unit, and in 65 games of Turpin's play he played, he has caught 70 passes and 952 yards and 7 touchdowns, and he has tiered 624 yards and 1 touchdown on 70-point returns, while adding 3,518 yards and 1 touchdown on 127 kickoff returns. Jerry Jones is not going to fire himself from being a general manager of the Dallas Cowboys anytime soon. That does not mean he should not feel a little pressure to nail both of his franchise's first-round picks in this year's NFL draft. It's crucial for the Cowboys to come away with a difference makers at the NFL draft number 12 and NFL draft number 20 if they want to emerge as viable Super Bowl contenders in 2026. Expect the Cowboys to think long and hard about using both of the round 1 selection on defense. The offense led by a quarterback Dak Prescott has the potential to be a top 5 unit in the NFL if their key players stay healthy. The defense, in sharp contrast, would love to secure a top half finish when the regular season is said and done. So, there are many players that the Dallas Cowboys NFL draft needs in 2026. The Cowboys require or have to sign a linebacker, the edge, and the cornerback. Nabbing a playmaking linebacker in round 1 could do a lot of the boost the unit overall of effectiveness. Securing an edge rusher to help ease the loss of the Micah Parsons could also be a top priority for Jones and his front office. Finally, landing a true number 1 in the NFL draft corner would help everyone fall into a place for a Dallas secondary. The key for Jones is to make sure he doesn't take any responsible gamble in the first round. So, if Akem Mesdo was 25 years old, the Cowboys might be justified in sprinting to the podium to snap him up to number 12 instead. He is 25 years old prospect that should be avoided by a savvy front office on round 1. This is not a knock on Mesdor's ability to make an immediate impact in the pros. He projects as an above-average pass rusher who can also set the edges against the run. The problem here is that he will be pushing 30 at the ends of his rookie contract. That greatly diminishes his potential value for a franchise that needs to hit on a same second contract in this year's draft class. Taking a Mesdo out of the mix might push a Dallas out of the edge rushing market in round one, but focusing on cornerback and linebacker would be a solid pivot for the front office of the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys should let someone else grumble on a rookie who will be older than apparently on his new teammate from a previous draft classes. Omar Cooper Jr. is not a potential replacement for a George Pickens. It's reasonable for the Cowboys to consider taking a wide receiver in round one if they believe a George Pickens will be out of their future price range. Team like the Eagles regularly gets kudos from the media by making a draft picks to fill needs that might not pop up to another 12 months. A former Indiana standout, Omar Cooper Jr., is a good enough wideout to merit a serious consideration somewhere in a middle round one. From a pure value standpoint, he would be a reasonable draft pick for a Cowboys to consider. The potential mishap for the Dallas is that Cooper is not like replacement for a George Pickens. Some scouts think he might be able to hold up on outside, but his skill set will be much better utilized in the slot. The same can be said for the current Cowboys star CeeDee Lamb. So no one should complain if the Dallas goes for receiver in round one, but they need to focus on player who can live on a perimeter. Cooper doesn't fit that description and could be allowed to fall to another team. A former Auburn star is relatively a young prospect who has all the athletic tools NFL defensive coordinators want to see from a draft prospect. The problem with his fit in the Dallas is that he doesn't have enough burst off the line of scrimmage to really supercharge the defensive line. Falk played outside in the college, but his lack of speed on the perimeter limited his ability to lash the passers effectively. There is a strong chance that the Lions' share of his pass rushing reps in the NFL will come from the tackle spot. The Cowboys' need on the inside is not as severe as their lack of the justice on the court side. So, also, the Dallas Cowboys want to sign to NFL draft those players from the college is Brandon Sears and Zion Young. So if you didn't make subscribe, please make subscribe of Cowboys Insiders in order to get more breaking news and NFL draft on the Dallas Cowboy. So the Dallas Cowboy on the way of signing a Brandon Sears and Zion Young on round one. Finding a starting outside a cornerback in round one is an absolute need for the Cowboys in this year's draft. That does not mean they should reach for a lesser tier of the corner if the top tier of the defensive back go off the board before the number 12 picks. The Cowboys should instead approach this cornerback class as Jermud Emsco and Mansour Delan or boost in round 1. A Brandon Seas might appeal to some NFL decisions maker because of his excellent athletic profile, but his lack of polish should force him down into a round 2 or beyond. The Cowboys should absolutely be a player for a size and other corners after they exit the first round. But reaching for a starter at the position of the needs is a good way to win a draft class. A seize and a handful of other corner might go off the board in the round 1 after McCoy and Dellam, but the Dallas doesn't need to be a team that